Hey guys, I'm Tom. Welcome to the top 10 Noobiest vehicles in this game. This list is based on my personal opinion, while I also try to explain why it's ranked like that. And I hope people are not getting too offended. Also, I will talk a little bit about the skill ceiling of every vehicle, because some vehicles you can get way more out of if you are a skilled player, but they still have a very low skill bottom, so it gets often abused by noobs and just bad players to still do well. Anyway, it's my first time making a top 10 video, so I would like to know what you think about it and if you want more of these. Anyway, time to get into this. So the start of this list will be the Khanjali. It is a decently armored solo operated tank that gets used to shoot people on foot over and over. There's no skill required to do so, but it's also not durable or evasive enough to be higher on the list in the big picture of everything. So it's really just the weak number 10. Place 9 goes to the Akula, of course the one with the homing missiles. It can rake in quite a few kills simply by turning stealth off, shooting someone and then stealth back on, and then you're off radar, so it's hard to react to this, especially if you are just in a car and you get no missile warning at all. Maybe you are not even looking at the map at the time the helicopter comes out of stealth, and then you just explode and don't know what exactly happened. It usually also gets used like that, like you just go from blip to blip on the map, shoot a missile or two and then move on to the next one. The skill ceiling here is rather high because not many people know how to get the homing off missiles and aiming them. And there's also dodging for the helicopter. And yeah, those people will much more of a problem than just the random that goes for homing missile kills. Those you can just dispose with the buzzer, like you just bait them, they attack you and then you turn around and fuck them up. Anyway, place number 8 goes to the Strikeforce. In terms of pure dogfighting ability, considering also firepower, it is by far the strongest dogfighting plane, and it's very popular to beat lasers and hydras because there's barely any effort with the smooth flying and tight turning, and also the explosive MG destroys the plane much faster than these smugglers run planes that sometimes take ages to destroy another plane, unless you shoot out the pilot, of course. It also has bombs and barrage missiles to use against the ground or on helicopters, so it can be used very well for griefing lobbies or doing the opposite, getting rid of lasers and hydras. It's like the cheesy dogfight counter against those planes. Since it's a plane, the skill ceiling is rather high because of certain flight techniques that give you advantages, for example hovering or stalling. The map reading skills you need to shoot people on ground. Number 7 would be the arena from the VIP mission Fully Loaded. This was the obvious entry to this list, as super tracking missiles combined with night truck level armor and permanent lock-on protection make it a no-brain entry here. Normally it gets used to counter either deluxes or oppressors. Some also use it to grief randoms, especially in free aim where there is less skill required to beat people on foot. Skill ceiling on this one is somewhat high. Mostly aim and decent high jumps to kill people on foot, while also using high ground to get higher jumps, as you can't reach optimal aiming height just by jump and parachute alone. Number 6 goes to the P996 Lazer. In terms of newbie vehicles, this would be pretty much the newbies of them all if we just go by actual noobs like a level 1, because that's the only vehicle you can acquire at level 1 when just starting the game, because it's always spawned at the military base. The kill rate overall out of all solo focused vehicles in this game is placing the Lazer at rank 2, just a little side ranking, because rank 1 is further up. Its primary use is griefing and rake into a lot of kills, like it's very popular by KD warriors and tryhards, like especially tryhards because it's a little bit safer than the Hydra, because it's smaller, has a better turning and a better acceleration. Regarding the skill ceiling on this vehicle, it's pretty high because you need several tricks and extra accuracy to beat better turning planes, or hitting small flying bikes, or getting the first shot in a combat merge. Rank 5 goes to the first noob bike, which I wouldn't even call noob bike anymore, considering it doesn't really deserve a special title when it's only rank 5. This is a relic from past times where people landed their broomstick regularly to refill their boost and fly to vehicles to spam them with homing missiles. These missiles are pretty accurate and you need dodging maneuvers to evade them as a victim. The skill ceiling is pretty high here as well. Dive bombing requires quite a bit practice for some people, and actually avoiding crashing while fighting while staying out of everyone's lock-on range is a difficult task sometimes. It also offers trick shots that actually have advantages of having the missiles not align with the flight direction of the bike. Therefore you are not almost sitting at one spot for some sniper when you fly towards them, because you can just do a different angle so you move a little bit more on their screen. Hydra would be the number 4. The death beam plane that can be started from a helicopter spawn. It was for a very long time the Noobiest vehicle you can bring to free mode. It has very user-friendly flying, while also having a tighter dual death beam than the Lazer. But it can spray much better because of the rudders, like you spam R1 and L1 alternating and you just get such a big area of effect because of this. On top of all that, it also has a hover mode that allows you to shoot undercover or inside parking lot or other stuff, making it really nice to just get someone out of cover. In terms of skill ceiling, it's very high. One-wing flight gives you a massive advantage in some situations, as well as hover mode can help you with dogfights if you fight stronger planes. Not necessarily the Lazer, but like stuff like Pyro or Starling. It has some very mean moves to still win against those, even if it shouldn't, if we just think about a regular turning fight. This placement might offend some people, but as before I will attempt to tell you why it's here. The Savage on rank 3. A helicopter, once being one of the weakest in the game, is now one of the strongest vehicles there is. Remember the solo kill rate ranking back on rank 6 for the Lazer? Well, the Savage is the king of kills. If you are up against a group of people or just that one pesky triad that always blows himself up, it will always farm them way faster than the Lazer or the Hydra or anything else in the game. That's how good a death beam is on a helicopter, because a helicopter can stay at one place and point at a pretty decent angle down. The extra armor and low lock-on box that got added much later after the release made it so brain-dead to use that even a complete noob could dodge a missile. In fact, this helicopter can dodge while the pilot is AFK. The skill ceiling is somewhat high, as tasks like beating dive bombing jets or hostile noob bikes are rather difficult, as well as beating armored land vehicles that can shoot back, because you have to place yourself above them and then sway back and forth and still not move too much away from them, or they can shoot back. Since the skill bottom is the lowest imaginable out of all helicopters, this one truly deserves the noob helicopter title. Moving to number 2, that would be the noob car, the Deluxo. A slowly flying car that spams top tier missiles and used to be a huge annoyance because of that. Skill bottom is the absolute lowest there is, and the skill ceiling is so low that you hit your head as soon as you learn how to dive bomb people, because there's literally nothing notable afterwards. I wish I could say more about it as we are closing into the number 1 spot, but this is really all there is to say about this car. So let's just move to the special mentions. So the first special mention is the RC Bandito. This RC car is just a pure triad machine. It lacks the ability to kill a lot, but in return makes it very safe to use to get a single kill, maybe 2 on the same person. The off-radar also helps for that. If you go with it to that guy blasting music through the mics, it's a guaranteed kill, as they will not even hear it. Skill ceiling is as small as the car. The second special mention, the Stromberg. While the car itself does a crappy job at collecting a lot of kills in a short time, it has very accurate missiles and in combination with armor. It usually gets used to dispose of any other noob vehicles that has very accurate missiles, or it can hide out in the ocean. And nobody will be able to kill the Stromberg if it's in the ocean, unless he's in the orbital cannon room. The skill ceiling is pretty low for this vehicle. It's really just in 90% of cases the positioning, so you just drive towards the hostile vehicle and shoot your missiles and you win, usually. Now for the number 1 spot. It was very obvious that this will be the #1 spot. Oh well. The actual noob bike, the Oppressor MK2. It is almost as foolproof as the Deluxo while having countermeasures and a small size, to buff its survivability extremely. It also has a high range missile. It's twice the range of the Stromberg actually, so that says something. And the missiles are the same, it's just twice the lock-on range. It is used much like the Akula without the need for stealth, as there's almost nothing being able to beat it anywhere other than another MK2. Usually people go from blip to blip to collect lock-on kills. The skill bottom is almost as low as the Deluxe, while the skill ceiling is the highest I was able to observe. What I mean by that is, now normal flying is easy and lock-on kills. Then we have shooting people on ground, which is a little bit harder to do consistently. And then we have the absolute hardcore shit like upside down flying. It takes hours or days for some people probably to control it well. Then actually using it for anything else other than speed glitching takes a whole lot more practice. Like, it's ridiculous, this vehicle, because the aiming is very twitchy upside down. And yeah, let's just summarize. A noob will only do lock-on kills. People really rise their KD with that shit to crazy numbers. A decent user will also use free-aimed missiles to kill people on foot after they destroyed their vehicle, and dogfights other MK2s with a chaff countermeasure, and most people don't have chaff, so yeah, more easy kills. And the pro will just dive bomb you and speed glitch out of any situation if he's upside down, just so you can also save some chaff. So it's just absolutely broken, and pretty much every griefer, every triad is abusing it to the max, which is sad because griefing used to be something fun, but now it's just the lock-on garbage we have now. Oh well, I hope you liked the video, and if you liked it, share and subscribe, and like, I guess, and maybe leave a comment, and yeah, see you at the next video, I guess.